Hi, this is Shayla Vega, and today I wanted to bring you a message. And this message is for the collective. Uh, I felt led to make this video because oftentimes when we're going through a learning lesson or a challenging time, we go through those situations in order that we can be a light and a help to other people who might be going through something similar. And whether that's in health or spirituality, financial, relationships, sometimes when we go through shit, it's only to teach other people and to help them through their problems, through their issues. So it is a full moon in Libra, and what that means is that it's a time of balance and karmic justice. Where you were wronged, it's time to make things right. Where you were lied or cheated, it's now the karmic scales are falling into place. Libra is all about balance and justice, and so if you've been in a situation where you've been having to deal with a lot of, put forth a lot of strength to get through this cycle, that it's okay to resist the juggling, and it's okay to resist the pressure for a little bit and give yourself a little breather right now. It has taken a lot of strength and a lot of effort to complete the cycle, but the good thing is that out of that, there's victory. And victory only comes through challenge. It's like when you lift weights, you only get stronger when you tear down your muscle fibers, and that's painful. It actually takes some hard work and effort. So if you're experiencing that kind of excruciating pain, like of, basically just pressure before a breakthrough, just give yourself some time, during this full moon, to process what it is that you want, what it is you're moving towards. So I use a combination of things, from the tarot to the Bible to spiritual texts and books that can help bring insight and strength into your life. And so I felt like, I'm going through some hard times myself, and I wanted to be a light and to shed a light on my own situation and share it with you while I do that, because I feel like we're all connected. So we all tend to go through, similar things collectively. And so today, I wanted to give you a little bit of inspiration and hope to continue to push through, and just know that you're not in this alone, and that, if you knock, the door shall be open. So if you need help, guidance, assistance, ask for it. Ask Spirit. Ask God, as you know Him or her. So today, what I got really was like, if you're dealing with you've exerted a lot of strength. You've exerted a lot of strength to go through this cycle. This cycle is ending, and you're resisting any more, adding too much to your plate, resisting that in order to come out with love, to come out with success, to come out with union, to come out with victory, and whatever it is that brings passion and completeness to your heart, to your mind, your body, your soul. So today, the message that anything can be used as an oracle. That you could open the phone book and ask God to give you a message and probably find something in there. So, a lot of people have different views on tarot and, different spiritual sources. So I take it with a grain of salt. I get my messages from a variety of sources, and, so again, Libra is all about judgment. And we're oftentimes guided in judgment, which means that in order for us to come out victorious, we have to go through shit. Especially if you're a humble person or like a kind and compassionate person, You have to learn that you can't come out with victory if you haven't. Okay, what I'm trying to say is if you're a kind and compassionate, loving person, uh, oftentimes we get there through judgment, through hardship, and all paths are designed in order that we would basically remember that, you know what, at the end of the day, uh, we're all spiritual beings. Like, your body is not something that houses a spirit. Your spirit houses your body as a vessel and a vehicle to get through this life. And when your physical body leaves, you're still going to have a spiritual life after this. So, um, you know, the way that we remember that is oftentimes when every physical material condition gets challenged and you have nowhere to turn except for spirit. And that's a hard place to be in. It's a lesson that I really wish we didn't have to learn through suffering. But for me, that's my path. That's how I learned. So, um, what kind of man are you, or what kind of person are you if you don't have any respect or honor for spiritual truth and um, righteousness? Like, what kind of soul do you have? Are you going to be one of those people that can't ever rest? You know, someone who you're just like not tuned into the higher frequencies, and you're down here in this material world, the lower vibrations of carnal lusts and desires and things that you can satisfy your flesh with, whether it's money or sex or you know, things you can buy, stuff you can watch, stuff you can drink. You know, they call alcohol spirits because when you drink, you're actually going through a little bit of self-possession right there. Like, you are actually opening yourself up to other spirits to work through you. And if you're a channel and a vessel for a spiritual demonic influence, negative energies to work through you, you're going to have like a trail of people that you hurt, and along with that comes karma. So you know, for me, what I've learned to do is I've learned to become addicted to getting drunk and stoned naturally, which means that I utilize fitness and yoga and meditation to get into a euphoric state of mind. And I feel like that allows you to have, instead of, you know, opening yourself up to spirits and like another energy to work through you, you actually can have love and compassion working through you, and you can have consciousness and humility and compassion. And so I just wanted someone to know out there that um, when your troubles in your heart, like if you have depression or sadness or whatever it is that you're going through, uh, you know, those pressures actually get bigger the more we look at them. And sometimes it's like you want a relief, and then more shit just keeps getting added to the pile, and it's almost unbearable, where you literally feel like you have nowhere to turn and it's just too much. Like, how can you get through when the troubles are so high and there's so much pressure that you seriously have no clue anymore? Well, that's actually where we're supposed to be. It's this hard lesson, but yeah, when you get to that point, you have nowhere to turn but to God. Uh, be grateful, because that's where you're supposed to be. That's where we should be before we turn into, like, you know, people and things to help us. So uh, when we get to that point, it's time to turn to your source of spiritual strength, power, hope, and that comes through taking the time to do it. So I wanted to give you a few ways to practice meditation, a few positive things to work towards. And when you dwell at ease, when you're able to have peace in your body, mind, and spirit, you're able to actually have a little bit of overstanding and awareness of the universal forces that work through all of us. And that's something that's done through you, and as you're able to have peace in your body, mind, and spirit. And so like the 12 steps, the first step is to first acknowledge that you are someone who needs help or someone that has this issue. So like when you first come to awareness that come to awareness with consciousness about what your particular issue is. That's the first step. Step number 1 is consciousness and awareness. It's like being aware of an issue, and then you can do something about it. So basically, anyone who needs to hear a message, and if there's a messenger that gets sent to you and you decide not to listen, that's something that's happened to me before, where like someone came into my life and I was supposed to heed a message, and I didn't. But later on I was like, oh my God, if I would have listened, if I only would have listened, I would have avoided this entire situation. And I'm going to explain to you what happens when you decide to not heed the warnings. It's kind of like Jonah and the whale. You know, like Jonah was actually sent to this city to go give them a message from God. And he was like, hell no, I'm not going there. I can't do it. And so like he avoided the path that God called him to, and he ended up getting eaten up by the whale, and kind of got trapped, got stuck in a really dark place. And through that, he was able to have a holy, what is it called when you're like stuck between a rock and a hard place and you have nowhere to, you have to listen at that point. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happens when you choose not to listen to that still small voice inside of you. Is that you'll get stuck in a deeper, darker place. Like you'll hear the message, you'll get it, but it might be through trial and error in a way that brings more hardship than you need to. I guess my point is that if you have someone in your life that is saying, hey, pay attention, maybe consider this, why don't you listen? Just listen.